You don't know me.
Wow. Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the show.
So, everyone needs to stop whatever the fuck they're doing.
Aside from finish listening to this.
Yeah. Well, no. This is more important.
Oh, what the...
Well, first you have to watch Game of Thrones. Then, you need to go watch The Call to Courage by Brene, my favorite author.
It was really good.
She's really good. Read
I
The Gifts of I know. I was getting there. Hello, God. I give you all the recognition. You changed my life in every way, shape, and form. Okay, are you happy now?
Oh my God. By the way, I saw Game of Thrones and Avengers Endgame all in one day. It was so overwhelming for my mind.
I watched Game of Thrones twice back to back, so
Ooh.
I win.
Well.
Anyways,
Yes,
Brene Brown.
She Call to Courage.
Is
Netflix.
amazing and has changed my outlook on life and is the reason why I'm the way I am on the podcast. And she's just all about being your authentic self. And so this is all about vulnerability. And most people don't think that vulnerability and courage are synonymous, but they fucking are. So, go ahead, Joe.
You can't have, I'll let her do the showmanship, I'll give the science.
Okay.
You can't have vulnerability, you can't have courage without vulnerability.
Yes.
Because courage is taking risks,
Yes.
showing your true self, giving an emotion.
Yes.
All that is being vulnerable.
Yes.
You can't have one without the other.
I am so vulnerable and I'm still battling with it. Every time we do this podcast, this is a lot for me because she says, there are spectators and there are people in the arena. And the people in the arena are the ones taking risks and the spectators are the one watching, judging, the fucking haters that are like, meh. But what are they doing? Nothing. They're just sitting there watching while we're in the arena trying to make our lives better, taking risks, fucking hustling hard. And I forget that when we do this podcast, it kills me. That's why I hate doing it, is because I'm putting all of myself out there, everything from my herpes to my fucking juicy vagina is all out there for the world, for people. Not that we have like millions of followers, but I'm opening myself up for people to just like criticize me. And it's hard because, of course, all the time with my friends, I can be so authentic and I'm just like wild and I just say whatever comes into my mind most of the time. But this is like the internet world, and so it's a lot for me. So I have to remember, like, I usually don't like to take risks. I'm a very calculated person, even though I talk about sex and stuff, whatever, but most of the time I'm very like, this is what's happening. I want a 9-to-5 job. This is my schedule. This is what I'm doing. I'm just like a type A like that. So this is like a whole new territory for me, especially since we don't have a plan. We literally just sit like 10 minutes before the podcast and go, hey guys, let's talk about this. And then I just fucking explode my asshole on everyone and hope you like it.
I explode my asshole on everyone. That's for you, Brene Brown, if you're watching this.
So what's the time you've been vulnerable, Joe? Can you think of one? When you've been courageous. Let's say courageous.
Courageous. Anytime I try to apply for a new job. Actually, it's not even applying for a new job. Mm-hmm. It's when I try to promote myself within a job or go for a higher position because because when I apply for a job, I usually apply for something I know I can get.
That's the other thing.
Whereas when it's something promotional or something where it's a lot of my comfort zone, then I self-sabotage because I have Imposter Syndrome. I don't think I deserve that position. I just tell myself a full story of why I should not apply for it.
You can do everything. You're a fucking badass bitch, and you're the one in this relationship that takes risks, like having the podcast and everything. You are the risk taker in this. So he's a risk taker in other ways, and in the corporate world, I'm the one pushing him to get there. But
yes.
For work, it was really hard for me when I, had my very well-paying job, was a spokesmodel. Everyone from the outside thought it was so amazing and everything was fucking awesome. And, I just wasn't feeling fulfilled in my authentic self. And, you pushed me because we saw to work with dogs, which was definitely a pay cut. But I fucking love dogs, and Joe knows that. And so I was like, he pushed me, and I said, fuck it. I'm gonna risk it all, risk everything to just have this happy life. And it was so terrifying. I was with my previous job for like 7 years. I did not want any change, and you pushed me to do it, and it was the most rewarding experience. I'm still friends with all those people. Like, the money didn't matter at all. I was just so happy every day to just be living my truth. Oh, it was so great. So, but it was hard for me, and I was like, oh my God, what am I doing with my life? But I'm so glad I did it.
I agree. I had been trying to push her to do stuff out of her comfort zone that I know she would love doing, and she's so about structure that it was so hard to get her to do it.
I know. And I think a lot of the time, especially with my family, I don't know about yours, but like, I wasn't raised for this vulnerability. Anytime I was shy or afraid, my mom would just be like, suck it up, just deal with it. Or like when times would get hard and I'd be emotional, it's just like, well, time to fucking grow a pair and just do it. And yeah, that's helped me in some ways, but at the same time, it's kind of masked any kind of vulnerability. So anytime I was feeling insecure, I would like try to mask it and be like, no, everything's fine, I'm fucking sucking it up. No, that's not life. Not everyone's just making it work. Everyone's struggling every single fucking day. And I think if we all acknowledge that and also revealed that, the world would be better and people would be nicer to each other, and just, you don't have to fake it and be like, yeah, my life's fucking awesome, dude. Like, no, perfectionism is a form of shame. Don't fucking forget it.
That's right. I think what happens is when we're raised, our parents tend to, they do it out of protection and raising and guidance, but they give us a story to live our lives by based on what's worked for them, which is great as a guide. Yeah. But if you make that the story to live your life by, it's not your life. It was what made their life successful. And what made their life successful isn't going to be the blueprint that makes your life successful. Yeah. So you have to learn to untell yourself that story, grab what worked, but to see what works towards your methods, because you may have a totally different way of doing things to get to the same goal. You have to trust that your way works too. And that's the problem. When people start failing and feeling like, oh, I'm gonna mess up, I'm gonna fuck up, it's because they're following someone else's blueprint of how to get there. And that's not being your vulnerable self. Yeah. And you have to fail to succeed. What do you think? Your first idea is just gonna be like, yeah, amazing? No. And even if your first idea is amazing, you're still gonna have to fuck up a bunch of times to figure it out. Like, there's no way. You can't, I think this is from Brene Brown, you're gonna fail at who you're supposed to be, but succeed at who you're meant to be. Ooh, I love that so much. This is my favorite line. I love that so much. You will fail at who you're supposed to be, but succeed at who you are meant to be. Oh, I love that. I love that. And I think people will see, I always say, real recognizes fucking real, And I don't have a filter, and I just say what I want, and it seems like people are gravitating to that for some reason, because I'm not like bullshitting anyone, being like, hi everyone, I'm here to tell you how to fucking live your life and it's gonna be fabulous. No, I'm telling you about how I fuck up all the time and how I'm figuring it out, and people can relate to that. And I have a trouble with that more in the work setting. I've always separated work from how I am at home. I was always taught when you're at home with your friends, you can be your goofy, weird self, and I'm weird Joe. But then when I'm at work, it's very professional, very thank you, please, which is fine. But what I'm noticing is now that we're getting into more work cultures where you're allowed to be more yourself, is I'm still professional, so I can tell people above me and my coworkers or whoever, wherever I'm at, whatever job I'm at, I could tell it's hard for me to break down that wall, and people can't open up to me because they can tell I'm not being You're not open. Self, You're not being vulnerable, my love. And then I can tell they're getting the wrong picture of me because they think I'm this certain type of person, but I'm not. Yeah. So it's something I've been trying to work on really hard, which is I gotta find the courage. I mean, there's a balance. You don't want to. I'm not gonna go walk into work and be like, "Hey, I love cock. Sign me." My nipples and say, yeah. Well, there's a difference between being vulnerable and having boundaries, which is something you have to set boundaries on your vulnerability. Yes. This is true. Because I oftentimes use my
no boundary lifestyle, that's me expressing my vulnerability. I'm pretty opposite from most people. When I'm acting really crazy, it's because I'm feeling insecure.
Yes, and people like to, the line that always got me is people who say, I don't care what people think, I don't care what people think. You do care what people think. You're literally hardwired. It's scientifically proven, and you are evolutionarily hardwired to care.
You crave belonging.
Because we are tribal. We are meant to be in a community. You would not survive as a human or a species if you did not care what people think. Yeah. So if you're saying you don't care what people think, you do.
I see people's insecurities with being vulnerable coming out the most when it comes to work, because like, let's say their work gets criticized, all of their worst traits come out. They either become angry, they want to, get vengeance, they get so emotional, like, take a risk at work, who cares? It could get shut down. If you're in a good working environment, they'll be like, okay, that's a great idea, but this is why it's not going to work. You can't freak out anytime someone says no to you, but you have to keep trying. Your idea could spark something in someone else or spark this other, who knows? So just keep fucking going. And then in relationships, oh my God, people who are sexually attracted, they get like this gloss over them. They're like, I need to please this person because I need them. And it's really your fucking genitals talking. Ooh. And it is when you're so sexually attracted to someone, it just like clouds your mind and you're like, I need to please them. And you'll change yourself completely to try and be with this person. And it's like, why don't you just show the real you? And if they don't like it, then great. You don't waste time, you move on to someone else. Do you know why guys, so I notice guys that I don't like always end up liking me, because when I'm not like attracted to them or trying to like gain them in my life and act crazy and like, I need this person. You're yourself. So those poor guys in the friend zone are actually seeing the real you, and they're like, God, the real Alexis is so fucking amazing. Whereas the guy you want to bang is seeing that like, I'm Alexis.
Oh my God.
And who wants to be with that? And no, exactly. So basically, which is crazy because I didn't want to bang, I just wanted to bang you in the beginning, but maybe that was good because...
See, because I had a different persona put up, which definitely I wasn't trying to do that one, but
maybe it's different for me because like when I want to bang someone, I'm not as invested, whereas if I'm like, oh my God, this person could be my husband, I become crazy Alexis, and I'm like, marry me. So if a guy doesn't like your authentic self, then fuck him and move on to someone who will. What do you think? You're gonna get married to this guy who thinks you're this like fake person? No, that's not gonna work out, honey.
Going back to the story you run through your head, you gotta realize, especially this is a big one in relationships, going back to communication, this could be its own topic.
Yeah.
When people get into arguments, not even arguments, discussions, you gotta realize both sides probably have a different film running through their heads at that moment. So you can be getting mad at me for something that you think I'm being super disrespectful for.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, in my head, I'm totally worrying about something else completely.
And it's, and
you're getting mad at me, and meanwhile, I don't even realize you're getting mad at me because I'm so worried about my own stuff. So instead of just talking it out and realizing you're both insecurities or popping out on something, you end up arguing at each other because you think the other's being rude.
Yeah. And I feel like it doesn't work out always perfectly, but we always end up getting to that spot where I can be like, I'm angry because, and it's always something I don't want to admit. Like, I'm always like, oh, okay, I'm actually like really stressed about something at work, or I'm really jealous about something else. And so it's sparking this insecurity in me and it's making me like act this way. And I think you just have to be upfront about it. I mean, it's hard in the beginning to get that out, but that's a reason to be vulnerable, especially if we're going to be fucking together till we die. Apparently, shit. I have to just tell you, like I'll say, I'm mad right now, and these are the reasons why. They're not logical, but this is what's happening, and I think that will help you better understand me.
I agree. And that takes time and practice and the insightfulness to be willing to just admit.
Yes, and not to be triggered. That's the hardest part.
That's so hard.
Admitting you're wrong and that you're having... I get it all the time. I get these like emotions that I can't control, and I'm just like, Joe, I'm having this moment and I can't control it. And he has to not freak out at me because I'm trying to be open and say my truth. And even though I know I'm irrational, it's like we're both working on ourselves, and it's just like we have to meet in the middle and be compassionate towards one another, because we're fucking human, and he's a disaster and I'm a disaster, and somehow our disaster has come into this tornado of love and jizz.
Tornado of love and jizz. That's basically what vulnerability comes down to.
It's just love and jizz.
It's just love and jizz all in one place.
Well, I hope we didn't preach too much. I was very aggressive about this because I fucking love Brene Brown, and you guys should watch it. I swear.
Yes.
I can't even do it justice, and there's not even spoilers. She is just so on point and just getting right to your fucking soul and being like, get your shit together, don't be a dumb bitch. And
I also recommend all of her books. She got, I think, 5 books out. I've read them all. Daring Greatly, Rising Strong.
Gifts of Imperfection is the best one because it's shortest and it really gets to the point, and you're like, God, I'm imperfect and I'm a fucking badass bitch because of it.
Guys and girls, I both recommend you read it. But definitely see the Netflix special,
good.
and if you like that and her TED Talk.
Her TED Talk is one of the best, the most watched, popular TED Talk ever. She's just so good. Oh my God, Brene Brown, please love me. Please love me and let me just follow you on tour and do some sex podcasting.
Oh my God. There you go.
See? That's how I'm going to be vulnerable and reach out to Brene Brown.
There you go. Reach out. We'll check
be like,
see if
Brene Brown.
Reached out.
I have no boundaries. And I'm sorry, but I'm working on it.
We're always working on it.
Well, sorry I didn't talk about dicks too much, but that's...
All right, we talked about exposing buttholes and tornadoes.
You know what?
So that
when I talk about dicks so much, that's when you know I'm being vulnerable.
Oh.
When I'm really feeling insecure.
There you go. Putting it out there.
Yep, the dicks come out.
Oh my God. The invert.
And then I put them away.
Oh my God.
Okay, good night.
Good night.